This is a CBC podcast.
Hi, I'm Anishinaabemowin. I am a two-time Olympic speed skater. My whole life, I have been surrounded by athletes, and every one of them has a story that a scoreboard will never capture.
It's not an easy thing to be with an athlete.
I don't understand why they're making fun of me because I like to figure skate.
Player's Own Voice is all about the person inside the performance.
When you're so in it, I think perhaps we're the people that understand it the least.
Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts.
Anishinaabemowin, how are you?
Gonalonkwa, which is I love you.
Agamemok, keep going.
Diantile for don't touch.
This is First Words, an Indigenous language podcast by Unreserved.
Yat-e, which is a greeting.
Miigwech, which means thank you.
Anin, nin Ziibiins Alexandra Iwade Mesquagami was a gaigening Wainjabayan. Mi Wainjabadigayan Dinoe Maganug. Kanakando dem. Gawindashawadesh Gonagunning Ingi Tajanatawige Igusin. Mi emaga kabikang ka taja ombige guwan. Mi emagae endawad ingitazimug. Hello, my name is Ziibiins, and my English name is Alexandra Johnson. I'm from the Red Lake Nation in northwestern Minnesota. I did not grow up on my home reservation, but down in Minneapolis, which is where my parents currently live. I am in Aotearoa, New Zealand, on a Fulbright, studying how to revitalize and protect my Indigenous language for adult second language learners. I was taking a Māori language class at the University of Auckland, and sitting in class with me was this 18-year-old girl who was saying, oh, yeah, okay, just very casually saying, Māori is my first language. I was like, what? That's absolutely amazing. So I think as far as their immersion schools, they've done extremely well. I did not grow up speaking Anishinaabemowin as a child. My grandmother knew some language when she was younger, but as far as how I was raised, I did not speak Ojibwe. Only knew maybe a few kind of basic words to say anin for hello or miigwech for thank you. I think I knew animush for dog. But actually, one of my aunties, she said a prayer at my parents' wedding when I was about 10 years old. And so I heard my language for the first time, and I remember feeling just like this intense emotion inside me, like that is what I want to do. And it was kind of hard to articulate or even really understand as a 10-year-old, like what it means to not know your language or to pursue language learning. And so after graduating from high school, I went to the University of Minnesota where I started learning Ojibwe language. And then I started attending as a student and then working for the Ojibwe Motarida Omagidi Kiminang adult immersion program in Fond du Lac. In my studies at the University of Minnesota, read a lot about language revitalization here in Aotearoa and was just extremely interested in how they had gotten such an immense amount of speakers growing up in the language through their kohangareo, the immersion preschools, and then even their adult second language learners who were helping to run those schools and really led the grassroots efforts here in New Zealand. So I was talking with someone back home at the University of Minnesota who was saying, you should apply for a Fulbright and go to New Zealand and go study and learn what you can, bridge the gaps between Ojibwe country and Ojibwe language back home, and then Māori country and the Māori language, and try and create a connection between how the two languages are being taught and learned and share difficulties and also share successes. So pursued that and then ended up here in New Zealand. the year before I was planning to head to New Zealand, we had 3 really prominent language speakers from Minnesota and Ontario, Canada, pass away, who are really, really big in the language revitalization movement. All of them were just so willing to share their language, their cultural knowledge, and each of them had a different breadth of words and language that they knew. And so I think, yeah, they're greatly missed, for sure. I almost turned the Fulbright down and said, no, I have to stay home because I need to be here. I need to work with the elders who are still alive. So, and then talking to friends and family, they really said, you are the person who has this opportunity to go to New Zealand and to work and learn from the Māori over there. I trust the work that friends and family are doing back home, and I know it'll be there when I get back. And I think that my experiences over here are only going to be able to help enrich our language revitalization efforts back home. The first word I want to teach today is Anishinaabemowin, which means, is the word in our language for the Ojibwe language. So I thought that was an important one to teach. The second word that I want to teach today is our word for elder. So Gitcha'aya'a, which means elder in Ojibwe. Gitcha'aya'a. And then the final word that I want to teach today is just one of my favorite words in Ojibwe because I think it demonstrates the complexity of the language and the beauty of the language as well. So my favorite word in Anishinaabemowin is Minwewe Bagasin, which means it sounds nice. The leaves sound nice blowing in the wind. And I just love this word because Ojibwe is a polysynthetic language, meaning that we have lots of little roots that can combine together to make one word. So we have this one word, Minwewe Bagasin, that can be broken down into min, meaning good, wewe, the blowing, bug, meaning leaf, and then asin, by wind, being moved by wind. And so you have this one word that takes so many words in English to explain, saying the leaves and the trees sound nice being blown in the wind. But in Ojibwe, you say Minwewe Bagasin. My name is Ziibiins Alexandra Johnson, and your Ojibwe words of the day are Anishinaabemowin, which is the Ojibwe language, Gitcha'aya'a, which means an elder. And finally, your third word of the day is Minwewe Bagasin, which means that the leaves sound nice being blown by the wind.
For more CBC podcasts, go to cbc.ca/podcasts.